I had no idea that the segment I did on Ghost banning smartphones on their next tour would spike so much controversy among the metalheads when I released it a couple of weeks ago in our Metal Digest. So today let's talk about fans using phones at metal shows, bands banning those, and why both of those parties are actually wrong with their response. Here you go. First of all, guys, I wanted to apologize for my entourage in this video because, as most of you know who follow me on Instagram and Facebook, I'm traveling this week, doing a couple of fundraiser speeches and meetings for our non-profit, and I will be back in Ukraine as soon as those are over. So hope you don't mind this, and especially if this is the first video you're watching on the show. But anyways, let's do it. So first of all, let's tackle the core problem. People standing in first rows of the crowd and recording the entire shows on their smartphones. And just to make it clear about my personal stance about it, well, I freaking hate it. No, seriously, this is one of the most infuriating things at modern metal concerts. Not only does it ruin the experience for others, but it goes against the whole spirit of metal itself. Metal is raw, it's visceral, it's about living in the moment, and when you're holding up a phone focusing on framing your shot instead of feeling the music, you're missing out the entire point of the metal show. Plus, let's be real here, those videos are actually never as good as you think. And I do understand the whole point of fan recording a band's new song or a deep cut track that the band is finally performing live. But watching a poorly lit, shaky recording of Master of Puppets with blown out audio doesn't do justice to the energy of the moment. And there is a very high chance that you will actually never watch this video again. And in addition to simply making your arm sore, well, you didn't actually enjoy the concert you paid quite a lot of money to go to. But at the same time, let's be honest here, who am I, or anybody else for that matter, including the band themselves, to tell you how to enjoy your concert, especially when you paid more than $200 for it? So yeah, well, I personally don't understand the whole intention of watching the entire concert through a small screen of your phone instead of actually headbanging with your fellow metalheads. Well, this is just my personal thing, and if any of you love doing that, well, good for you, honestly. No criticism about it whatsoever. But at the same time, hypothetically missing out on an experience is not the actual problem with this action. The actual problem with this is that by doing so and by blocking this view of the stage with your LED screen, you are not allowing your fellow metalheads who paid exactly the same amount of money for that same show to experience it in the way they would like to do so. As instead of being able to nerd out and watch every little step and movement of their favorite musician on stage, they are forced to view it from your phone screen. And this, my friends, in my opinion, goes very much against the whole spirit of metal.
Martin and I will come and join you tonight. Put your phones down, for fuck's sake.
So yeah, I think that nothing, not even your personal rights or ridiculous ticket prices, can justify you being ignorant towards your fellow metalheads. Yet at the same time, banning phones at metal concerts whatsoever is pretty much the same as banning schools in problematic neighborhoods in fears that kids will use it as a place to sell drugs. At the very least, overreaction. And especially today, in the 21st century, when, let's be honest here, phones are a part of our day-to-day life and are not simply just a mere tool for communication or taking videos or photos. So no, the comparison to how people were able to enjoy concerts without their smartphones back in the 1980s is not 100% applicable here. And yes, ridiculous ticket prices actually do have something to do with it as well.
You see this bozo over here taking a selfie? Swag!
By the way, guys, did you notice how I seamlessly changed the t-shirt to show you the different designs available at my merch store? Yeah, I agree, whatever. But anyways, the truth is that in today's world, Phones, not for everyone of course, but for many, have become much more than just a privilege, as some may say. It has become part of your essentials. And I'll be honest with you, as a father who, if going to a show, has to leave his kids with someone, you know, like a grandmother or something, I would actually think twice if I would be required to not use my phone whatsoever. And once again, I am actually quite okay with not taking videos at all at a metal show. And in addition to that, after releasing the initial video in the Metal Digest, I received so many comments and messages from a bunch of people who rely heavily and constantly on their phones for health issues, because this has become a normality in the 21st century. And yes, I do understand that yonder pouches still allow you to use your phone if you go outside of the venue, and then technically you could come back to the show and continue enjoying it if there is an emergency. But the thing is, if you're standing in the first row right by the barrier, and most likely you've spent quite a lot of hours to be at the spot you're at that show, and you have to go all the way outside of the venue just to check your text message because you're thinking that it might be something important or a message from your health app, and then go back again and lose your spot, stand somewhere in the back, or you understand the point. This, in my opinion, is actually quite discriminatory against the people who do have to rely on their phones constantly because of one thing or another.
Are we that boring? Well, don't tell me to go f myself. You already did by looking in your phone instead of paying attention. I'm not wrong.
And the thing is that I'm actually quite happy that we're at least acknowledging this problem at this point. But the bottom line here is that we have to tackle the problem, not the device that is causing the problem. And the problem is that some fans do not allow other fans to enjoy the show by holding their phones up and recording large chunks of the concert, not the fact that people are coming to the concert with their phones. So what is the solution for this? Well, I actually think that there are at least a couple.
But you want an ass! You might have to put the phone down, but you want an ass! If you put your phone down, I'll dance with you! You want an ass!
Well, first of all, people record the shows because they want something to hold on to, a piece of memory about their favorite band and a magical experience they had at that show. And since most major bands, because once again, we're actually talking only about major bands who would go for such move, because all these small bands actually do love it when you record their show and put bits on YouTube or TikTok or other social media platforms. I mean, if we're being honest, that's how Ghost actually became popular, but not about that now. When we're talking about major bands, they actually record most of their shows anyways. I mean, most of them have LED screens on the stage and cameras are rolling anyways, so why not release that footage for all the fans who actually attended that concert? I mean, Metallica has been doing that with audio for the past 20 years now, and they've actually made quite a lot of extra cash from it. I don't know about you, but I actually purchased an audio version of every Metallica concert I've ever attended. So why not do exactly the same thing with the video? And it doesn't really have to be a polished version. I think most fans understand that it can be pretty raw and rough around the edges. Still much better than the video you would get on your phone. And I'm actually quite certain that if the fans would know for sure that they could get the footage after the show and the band would communicate it to their fans, most of them would never actually take out the phone to record the videos. So this, in my opinion, is the solution number one.
But are you going to do that all night? Or just a little bit? How about we all film me now? You ready? And then put your fucking phones away. You ready? Here we go. 30 seconds.
Number two. Let's be honest here, guys. If a band bans the usage of all the phones for all of the people attending a show at a venue, then they most likely do it not because they truly care about their fans not being able to enjoy the experience. Because people taking videos at the seating sections of the venue actually do not bother anyone at all. And so another possible solution would be simply to forbid recording videos in GA. And that's it. Or issue a communique that everyone who will be recording videos in GA section with their hands held up high would be simply escorted out of the venue by the security. I mean, that's what we all had before we had smartphones, right? When you would take out your camera in the GA section, you most likely would get in trouble for that. And this, in my opinion, would be more than enough to address the issues for the bands who actually care about this.
What are you doing? You taking a home movie? Really? You gonna share it with your friends? Guess what, though? I want to tell you one thing. If you're looking at me through your phone, you're not looking at me. We don't need I love you.
And the last, but definitely not the least, is that bands simply have to have communication with their fan base. The thing is that I'm actually quite sure that if Iron Maiden or Judas Priest would issue a communication with their fans and ask them politely to not use their phones, or at least not hold them up high at GA's stand-in section, most of the fans would actually listen to their favorite bands. So yeah, in my opinion, there are actually quite a lot of ways to stop this annoying pandemic for those bands who are annoyed by this. As let's be honest here, not everyone is actually.
Somebody punch that fucking asshole right there.
And all of them are much better than simply banning the phones whatsoever. But what about you? What do you guys personally think about it? Please let us know in the comments. And by the way, guys, I think you noticed that I'm actually recording this and not in my regular home studio, is because I'm actually on a fundraising trip. We're raising money for our non-profit once again, because you all saw the news about what is going on in Ukraine right now, and I just want to thank you all. Thank you all for supporting me, this show in Ukraine, through this very, very difficult time. And guys, please don't forget that the biggest war since World War II is going on right now, right in the middle of Europe, and there are people dying there every day, and none of this is normal. And we should forever remember that we should stay and stand united against the evil. But anyways, thank you so much for watching, guys, and we will prevail. Slava Ukraini!